Okay. I'm gonna start it. Again, thank you so much for being here. We have Justin Himmelbahn, who is out of you're out of Delray Beach, right? In South Florida, Justin? Oh, I think you're on mute there.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So he's in South Florida. I didn't put on the graphic, so if you have referrals, he's a I'm gonna say badass if that's okay to swear a little bit.
That's fine.
Your social media, and I'm gonna ask for your bio in a second. Why it was so valuable to have you here is because you use your ADHD and your hyper focus to connect with your database, right? On social media, you're texting them constantly. You found a funnel to really specialize in that works, right? And it is in your arena. It's fun for you, and you're just constantly interacting. And then the other thing that I like is you do time blocking, and you also have some flexibility in it. So that's what we talked about on these calls is, structure with flexibility. So you're not the person that's like, hey, you got to do everything this exact way. You've got some room there. And I mean, you're extremely successful, right? I mean, you did let's see. I mean, your highest year, I think, was you did over 1 million in GCI, right? Was it 1,053,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. That's fine.
No big deal. Chill.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to give your bio? Anything I missed a little bit, and then we'll go into some questions for you, and then
I think I
give
see
it
a
over
Disney
to you.
I think I see a Disney marathoner in here, Jason. Congratulations. I did that one. I think it's the worst marathon that ever existed, but Disney's cool. Did he? Oh, he clued in. I was like, did he leave because of that? No, he just took himself off. Yeah. So, yeah. So I'm in South Florida, born and raised in Boca Raton, Florida. We service all the way from Miami all the way up to Port St. Lucie, which is the southeast coast of Florida. So down where the Florida man stuff really happens, where it gets super weird. And we mainly service Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and Boynton Beach. Those are like our three main hubs, but cities are small around here, so we pop all over. How did I get in? I think it's important how I got involved with social media. And I think the first part is I'm not like a very techie guy. I'm not a very creative guy. I'm none of the things that I'm not like an artist in any way, shape, or form. I was told by my wife's best friend today that I'm better looking than my brother, but because of the way I dress, I look worse than him. And I needed to change my attire. But so what I'm here to say is I don't have any creative genius here. This is everything I'm going to teach you how to do today could be done by an absolute idiot, AKA me, right? I have extreme ADHD and I probably use that to my advantage. But right, like show of hands of people who can relate to, I could not sit still in class, could not do it. Was I absorbing the information? Yes. Could I get A's on almost all the tests? Yes. Could I do the homework and sit there at home? No, I couldn't. I knew the information. Why did I need to do homework to learn the information I already knew? That didn't make sense to me, right? So I'm here to tell you my whole reason for being is to figure out how to work with my ADHD, right? And so I've created a team and a whole structure around my business where I don't have to do I don't have to do the homework. I don't have to do the stuff that I don't like to do. And so you can use ADHD as your superpower to figure out how to create a business big enough that you could just keep being you. And so social media was a way, because I couldn't cold call when I got in this business. I didn't have any money for Zillow leads to get people to call me. All I had was the ability to take photos on social media pretty terribly and keep posting them, because I did have a thing where I didn't care if people thought I was annoying or it was stupid. And I went, I was 20,000 in debt when I started this career. I was a bartender before. And I was just like, whatever, I'm going to just give it all I got. Let's see what happens. And social media was the way that I connected with people in my database and created a moat around my database that went from 10 million my first year, 26 million my second year, 43 million my third year. and my business took off, right? So that's my bio and I'm sticking to it.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I mean, what you said, I think we have some people who are creative. We have some people who don't feel creative. And I mean, the system you have is just do it, right? I mean, you've got a system, do it your way, like you said, work with your brain. And it's so important because I think and we talked about these on these calls, is that you sit in a training and it's like, okay, here's the way you have to do it. It's you do this or you fail, right? Unless you call, you're not going to make it. And here's another example of someone who said, hey, I'm going to do it a way that works with my brain, and then oops, I grossed $1 million. Right? So it's okay to deviate from the model as long as you hit the objective, right? How you get there doesn't really matter. It's that you get there.
Amen. You know,
Yeah.
it's so true that there's so many ways to do this. And right, like when I started in this business, they told me to cold call. Well, I'm on a group text with 25 of the best agents at Keller Williams. I've made it into those circles, right? And the talk today is our lead generation is not working. And we knew that, especially because most of us in here are younger. We knew that this stuff wasn't working because we tried it. And listen, we didn't give it the time that they did, but I think they were hanging on. I think the older, crew in this business has been hanging on to what used to work. And the truth is, it doesn't anymore. Social media works, right? Staying in front of other realtors gets you referrals. Staying in front of other possible clients gets them to, you stay top of mind and they'll use you. How much does it cost to send out, Tyler, how much does it cost to send out a mailer for you? One mailer.
Yeah, it depends on the mailer, right? I mean, it could be $1, it could be $2, it could be
Okay,
$3.50.
let's say
Yeah.
a dollar. And how many people does that $1 of mailer get? How many people see that?
I mean, one, if they get it, right? They may throw it
Right,
away.
one if they
right?
get it. So
Right.
now let's say 50% of people even look at it, which we know it's like 2% of people look at it. I tested it when I was giving up on mailers. I tested it, and I said, I will give you $5 if you respond to this. I sent out 3,000 mailers, and I said, I'll give you $5 if you just respond. Anything, email, text, do anything. 4 people responded. 2 of them knew me.
Out of how many?
Out of like 3,000.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
And I said, and one person's going to win $1,000. So I was going to give one person $1,000. So all you had to do was text this number back, and you had a chance to win $1,000. And I got 4 people to do it.
Wow.
So I'm here to tell you, it doesn't work. Now, if I post on social media, yes, maybe only one person sees it. But you know how much money it cost me? $0, because I have a very interesting, I don't know if everyone in this group has the same Facebook and Instagram that I have, but it doesn't charge me to post. I can post 1,000 times a day, and I think then it might stop me. But at this point, I think I posted like 10 times in a day before, no stopping me. So what the heck are we doing? Social media is definitely the way. And now I'm going
to put a link. Oh, I'm going to put a link to your your Facebook in the chat, if that's okay. Sorry to interrupt
my Instagram if you don't mind. And I changed my name to my Instagram handle. The one thing is, I most likely will not accept your friend request on Facebook because I ran out of space.
That's how I'm too. Yep. Okay. So I'll post that in the chat then for Instagram.
But Instagram is ideal.
Okay. Got it.
So I think what's important is that I'm not teaching you today about the media part of social media. What I really want to focus on is the social part. What I want to focus on is the part where where I maximize my ADHD is that I love to just scroll the internet because it's great. It gives me a ton of dopamine. I don't know if you know this, ADHD people are usually deficient in dopamine, right? That is a part of being ADHD. Well, so we love to scroll our phones and get these little dopamine hits. That works for us. Well, you know what else works is if while you're there, you comment really purposeful stuff on your friends' social media accounts so that they think you like them or love them or care about them in some way, shape, or form. And do you think your database is more likely to work with someone who comments on their social media or someone who just skips right over their posts, right? They're more likely to work with someone who's been interacting with their content. So everyone's spending 2 to 3 hours on social media. We basically know that at this point. That's the average. And if you could be interacting with them where they are, they're not in their mailbox. They don't care. They're barely in their emails, right? Where people are is on social media. They're not even on TV. When's the last time I haven't even watched an ad on TV in so long, right? Because we can all skip them now. We have DVR, and the only time I watch the ads, they're at the Super Bowl. And so how can we be more social on social media? And I want to talk about 2 types of social media right now, and they're Instagram and Facebook, right? Facebook starts in 2000, and it's super cool, right? Because you get to take the high school in 2005. So I get to take my entire high school friends, middle school friends, camp friends, and put them into my Facebook database, right? And then I get to keep loving on them. They get to watch my life. I get to watch their life. I get to comment and interact with them. It's amazing. An easy way for us to stay in touch. What do we need to do as realtors? We need to stay top of mind. These social media avenues have given us such an easy way. We don't have to call them. We barely even have to text them. We can just put out our own content and interact with their content, and boom. Now you have interacted with them and you've stayed top of mind. What are other ways to stay top of mind, right? I know a lot of people don't have their hands up. So if everyone could just write in the chat, yes or no. Yes, if you've ever posted on social media, and hope that 0 people liked or commented on the post. And I mean immediately. I don't mean an hour later when you realize the post was cringe. I mean right up front, you posted it and you hope nobody liked or commented on it. Type yes if yes, type no if you've never done that. I got to figure out who Jennifer is, because Jennifer apparently has posted and hoped that nobody liked it. No, every time you post, your hope.
Oh, see, Justin, I
messed it. Okay, I messed it up.
I thought you meant like we posted and then nobody liked it, and I was like, oh gosh, is that a dumb post? That's how I took it. But I might have got it wrong too.
Everyone is posting for a dopamine, for some sort of validation, a dopamine hit or something. They want their posts interacted with. They want this dopamine hit. So why don't you become the dopamine dealer for your database, right? Why don't you be the one who says, hey, I love that post. I don't care if you like the post. That's not important here. What's important is that these people that are on the other side of the phone think that you care about them, because you want to be cared about. So do they. Simple math. So how can you be the dopamine dealer? I've actually sold a lot of drugs, and dopamine is the only one that I've never been afraid to go to jail for. So don't sell your Adderall, sell your dopamine. Let's roll.
Keeping it spicy. I love it.
Always. I got to keep them engaged, Tyler. I got to keep them engaged.
No, and I'm going back to volunteering. So I've got my camera off. So I'm going to be listening, but I'm volunteering with the hurricane. So I won't have my camera on. So I'm going to pass it off to you if that's okay.
No sweat, man. I just talk away. You're good.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah, I'll be listening to every word though.
Done. So you get to be this dopamine dealer, right? So how many opportunities do you have a day to dish out dopamine to your database and stay top of mind and make people and get more people to like, like, and trust you, right? If they're following you on Instagram, they probably already know you. You're just working on the like and trust part. So you can, if you comment on their stuff and you give them your love, dude, they're going to like and trust you. The other way is to post, right? So you're going to post stuff that makes you look like a trustworthy realtor. Where do you sell real estate? A, that you sell real estate, right? B, where do you sell real estate? And C, give them something else, right? And now Tyler's done a great job of being the ADHD guy, right? So think about Tyler, be something like that, right? What can you do, right? So everything I do is orange. So I got my sign here, or which part of the sign can you see? Orange, logo, orange. I want you guys to look at a peach emoji. I want you to if you follow me on Instagram, I will like your stuff and you'll see I put orange hearts on everything. You can do that. Orange, like pick a color, any color, make it your color. You like pink, go pink. You like red, go red. Tara Carter out of Fort Lauderdale, great. All pink. Everything's pink. Me, everything's orange. Pick a color, any color. I got a slogan: keep calm, call Himmelbaum. Keeps people engaged. What do they do if they need something? They just keep calm, call Himmelbaum. Anything they need. You need a date night spot. Your tire breaks down on 95. You need to buy a home. Better chance if you've called me to fix your tire, you're calling me to fix your house. So there's all these ways that you can stay top of mind with your database. There's a gene in the back. There's a cell in the back of your head. It's called the Halle Berry cell. I'm a huge psych nerd, trying to figure out what was wrong with me my whole life. So I'm a huge psych nerd, and there's a cell in the back of your brain called the Halle Berry cell. I call it the Will Smith cell because I just don't know enough about Halle Berry. So when I say Halle Berry, what do you think of? Drop it in the chat. What do you think of? Like, as many things as you can think of, not just one. Just drop, brain dump. When I say Will Smith, what pictures come up in your head? What associations do you make? Will Smith, not Halle Berry, but yes, Halle Berry. There you go, Chris. Boom. So there's all these things we think about, right? The slap, he's a man. He's in movies. He's black. He's had a singing career. He's got a son who's an actor. His daughter was a rapper at one point. He's got a wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, you're going to think about that. Oh, maybe you think of Carlton because Carlton was in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with him. You might think of Fresh Prince. So all of these, you might think about basketball or Philadelphia from the song, right? Like, all these things are going to come up. How can you tie the most things back to you, right? How can you give people the opportunity for orange? They see orange, they think Justin, because the chances that when they think houses, you're the first person they're going to think about. If you haven't created more of these, is going to be tough. But I had a buddy, he had a Marvel sleeve tattoo here and a Star Wars sleeve tattoo here. So when I see Marvel or Star Wars, I think about PJ every single time, right? Like, how can you give people this option, right? And it's why groups like this are so great, or like being part of a church or being part of a temple or being a huge fan of a soccer team or a baseball team or a football team or something that people can interact and be like, oh, the Ravens. I know Tony loves the Ravens, right? And they could just think about you more often, right? I just want people to think about me. When I first got into this business, I made shirts, and I made sure they were the most comfortable shirt that everyone would want to wear to bed. Like, they were like super soft. And I had like 40 girls wearing my shirt to bed every night. Their boyfriends not so happy. And how many more times did they think about me? They thought about me almost every night they put my shirt on. Right? So, like, I'm no idiot. I mean, a little bit. So Instagram, super easy. What another cool thing about Instagram is you can follow somebody and they don't necessarily have to follow you back, or vice versa, right? So on Instagram, what's cool is you meet somebody at a bar. That's not someone you become Facebook friends with, right? Like, oh, we had a good conversation sitting and having a beer. We're not going to be Facebook friends. You're also not going to get their number because in 2024, that's a little weird. And if their number goes in your phone, you don't have a picture, you have nothing to associate them with. You're going to forget you even took that number in like 3 days if you don't use the number. But if you guys each follow each other on Instagram, that person can follow your life kind of indirectly and comment here or there. And maybe you'll have proven to them by commenting on their stuff and interacting with their life that you might be a worthwhile realtor, right? And you post every once in a while that you sold a home, and all of a sudden they're like, oh man, that guy I met at the bar, he was cool. I like him. I know him. And the content he posts, I kind of trust him. It looks like he knows what he's doing. I'll call him when I need to sell a home. And I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of commission from people I met at bars. Pretty simple. Let's go over to Facebook. Facebook's cool. Did I start with Facebook? See, this is what ADHD does to you. No. So Facebook's cool because it's two-way friendships, right? So you follow somebody, but if they don't accept it, there's no friendship, right? And so Facebook's a really good place to ask for advice, ask for help, to give people help, right? What we know innately is that if I connect my plumber with my seller likes me more, my plumber likes me more, right? So there's a better chance that they use me again in the future if I connect them. Well, Facebook is just a great place where you can create infinite connections like that. That's why Facebook works. So what can you do to ask for more help on Facebook? I don't care if you have a plumber. If your toilet breaks, ask somebody who they know who can fix it. People love to give a recommendation. I just went on my honeymoon. So where am I going to go on my honeymoon? I don't know. Me and my wife cut it down to two places. It was Amalfi Coast or a safari in Africa. So we asked Facebook, hey guys, should we go to safari for our honeymoon or Amalfi Coast? Well, spoiler alert, we went to Costa Rica. But we got 150 people to tell us where they think we should have gone. And we got to interact with all that. I got to interact with all that content. And all those people got to think of me. And then they followed up and asked, oh, did you go to a safari? Did you go to Amalfi Coast? No, we went to Costa Rica. Or no, we're going to go to Costa Rica. What should we do in Costa Rica? You got any recommendations there? These are all touches, right? These are all ways to stay top of mind. I think the number one way, though, to stay top of mind is through birthdays. Facebook is so good at keeping us connected via birthdays. Show of hands of anybody who's had a birthday in this group. Good. Solid amount of about 50% have had a birthday. That's good. Of the people who wish you a happy birthday on Facebook, would everyone agree that like 80 to 90% of them say something like HBD, happy birthday with exclamation marks, or happy birthday with balloons? Can we agree that 80 to 90% of people just say that and move on? Good. Yeah. So don't we have a great opportunity there to be the dopamine dealer again? What if instead you said, hey, Tyler, I see your birthday's, I see it's your birthday. I just want you to know everything you're doing with the ADHD community is amazing. The way you're providing value and getting people together, providing them advice and value and leaders in the community to come and help them is absolutely amazing. And the way you're just being a leader is so cool. I hope you have a great birthday. Do we think that I have a better chance of getting a referral from Tyler in the future if I say that, or if I just say HBD? I think we can all agree. If I said that longer thing, and would it take 30 seconds? And honestly, if someone's your Facebook friends with somebody and you can't say just that, you probably just delete them at that point. So every day you should wake up 5-10 minutes, hit that. On Mondays and Thursdays, this is where I really think you'll get the value out of today, is in these birthday messages, right? So a few days before everybody's birthday, 10 days before, Facebook will tell you that it's their birthday, right? So you'll have this list of 10 days worth of birthdays just sitting there in Facebook. That information is available to you just in that birthdays tab. So what we do is I have a already set up message that I just copy paste, and it says, hey, I see your birthday's coming up. What are your goals for the next year? Done. And I send that as a direct message. People respond, oh, my goals for next year. Now, us as Keller Williams agents, I assume most of us are Keller Williams agents, we think about our goals a lot, right? That's like part of being a KW at KW. It's part of being a realtor almost. But if any of you have ever worked other jobs, like bartenders aren't going, what are my goals for next year? Bartenders aren't sitting down, like the guy who works at the bookstore is not thinking like about his 5 and 10 year goals, right? So we have a huge opportunity here to get people to start thinking about that, to help them plan out their life. And then you get to set a reminder in your calendar when they tell you about their goal for a month from now, 3 months from now. Hey, you said this was your goal for the next year. How's it going? Is there anything I can do to help you on the way to that goal? Right? And now, even if this person has a really good friend who's a realtor, I guarantee you that person is not asking them about their goals, has not followed up about their goals, did not write them something super powerful on their birthday. And now, when they respond about their goals, ask them what their address is. Hey, I want to send you a birthday card. What's the best address for you? You get their address. So now you can send them anything, anytime you want. You know, just don't send anthrax. I think we're trying to avoid that in the future. But you can send them anything you want now. And I send them a $5 gift card and a letter that says, hey, you know, I know your birthday. I know it's your birthday, and I'm sorry I can't be there to have a coffee with you. Next time we're together, I'd love to have a coffee with you. But for now, here's a $5 gift card. And I send them a $5 Starbucks gift card. I've only had one bad instance happen. A guy forgot that it was $5. He took a date to Starbucks with that $5 gift card. And when it bounced, because he spent 20 and he didn't have 15 more dollars, he called me very angry at me. He said, I thought it was a $20 gift card. And so I sent him $120 and he shut the hell up. So, but the one thing I've had people say to me, right, is like, oh, well, where am I going to get the money to send everybody a $5 gift card? Well, I'll tell you, it cost me about $9 to send each card, because I have a company do it. They handwrite it, like fake handwriting, and they send a $5 gift card. So it cost me $9 each one. How do I do it? I don't know about your markets, but I would assume every market at this point, pretty much the average commission is somewhere around 7,000 to 8,000 minimum, right? That's probably the lower markets. The average commission is probably about $7,000. And the higher markets, you're probably looking at like 15 to 20 grand, right? Like my market, if you make less than like 17 grand in a commission, it was a small deal. So we're lucky there. But if 1,000 people give you their address, I can guarantee you 2 of those 1,000 are going to send you a referral or are going to do a deal with you directly in the next year, right? So you will make up that money 100% easily. In the 4 years I've been doing this, I've made 212 grand just through birthday messages, just through like people being like, oh my God, that was so cool. You remember my birthday. I actually have a friend who's looking to move to Boca. Here he is, right? This is all super simple. And what we know is if you don't enact these things in the next 24 to 48 hours, especially with our ADHD, it's probably more like if you don't do this in the next minute, you're not going to do it. So do me a favor and just the Facebook birthdays, I think, is like the most massive thing you can do to create immediate money in your pocket and change. You know, I don't talk a lot on this call about creating media, but make sure the media you create is interesting to people who are not looking to buy houses right now. So yes, you can have what do they say, like 80-20 rule, right? So 1 out of 5 posts could be about real estate, but 4 out of 5 posts should be about the city you live in or your life, not about real estate. Because I was on a call, just me, Jason Abrams, and Jay Pop is on, and we came up with the number 6% of your database is looking to move at any one time, right? And so if 6% of your database is moving at any one time, that means 93% of the people who follow you are not going to be moving in the next 6 months. It was in the next 6 months. Sorry, I forgot that part. So in the next 6 months, 6% of your database is going to be moving, which means 93% of your database does not care about the homes you're selling right now. It's the 6% that cares, and then your mom, and like maybe some of your cousins who really support you and love you. Like your 2 besties who are just like ride or die cheerleaders. But everybody else is like, oh, Tyler's posted 10 straight houses. I don't want to buy any of them. I'm not liking any more Tyler's posts. No matter how much they like Tyler, they're skipping the post, right? We need to figure out how to get them engaged in all of your content. So content about what's going on in the city, new restaurants you've tried, stuff like that is going to be huge. I think another thing that's really important is stories on Instagram, is the ability to just go on and just they're chronological, right? So I always think to post, people always ask me about when to post. I like to post right before someone would be scrolling, right? So people are going to wake up and scroll. So 7:45, 8 a.m., post some inspirational quote, something. What else? Just before lunch, right? People are about to go on their lunch break. They stop working. They're at lunch. They're scrolling. Right before the end of the workday, maybe like 3:30, people stop working. They start just scrolling on their phones. And then maybe like right around dinner time, you post. And then right after dinner, as they're winding down, they're scrolling. So those are the times I think to post stories. What do you post on your stories? I think this is all kind of probably rudimentary for our age group, but what do you post on stories? You post just whatever, the coffee shop you went to in the last day or two, the vacation you went on, some advice about buying or selling homes, a home that you just help somebody buy or sell. Tell stories, get people engaged. I think those are all super cool. There's a principle called the Taylor Swift principle. Does anybody know about that? No. All right. So the Taylor Swift principle is you get a listing and you try and sell it and it doesn't sell. So you write a song about it. It's a really, really cool tactic. No, sorry. That's what Taylor Swift does when she breaks up with people. It's different. What the Taylor Swift principle is right. No matter what media campaign Pepsi does, right? We know it's a media campaign. And so it doesn't really convince us a ton. So what Taylor Swift realizes that she gets invited to sing at 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls' birthday parties constantly. She gets these letters like daily, right? And what she decided is that 1 or 2 a year, she was just going to do it. Now that has literally no ROI for her. She loses a ton of money when she does it. But the goodwill and the PR she gets from doing it have helped create her celebrity, right? This like aura of that she is just like you and me. She's just that like girl next door and everyone is rooting for her. And it's created such a cool environment, right? Like her concerts were just in Miami and it was wild, right? Like it rained the entire concert. 61,000 people couldn't have been more pumped to get Taylor rained on her, right? It's wild. And so where are your opportunities to enact the Taylor Swift principle, right? Where are your opportunities to go above and beyond, right? Like on people's birthdays, that's an opportunity to enact the Taylor Swift principle. It's an opportunity to go above and beyond for somebody where it doesn't make sense, right? Like financially, you couldn't do it every time. But like, hey, why don't for this one seller, like I know they're struggling a little bit. Why don't and I know they have some sort of influence. Why don't I cover their closing costs? Why don't I pay for that, like their inspection repairs? Why don't I do something where I could, hey, the next person who buys a house for me, I'm donating the whole commission to what's going on in Asheville, right? Something like that, where you could do something that doesn't make sense. So what I did, and Tyler knows this, right, is I drove to Asheville. And my heart was hurting. I wanted to do something. I've always been the type of guy who wanted to do something and didn't do something. Right. I'm the guy who sees the fight across the street and is like, I should jump in and save that person. But then like, I just walk back to my car. So this time I just wanted to be that person. So I drove to Asheville. I brought all the supplies I could. I raised $25,000 and I brought it to Asheville. Right. And that was how I could help. For me, I lost 3 listings doing that. Like people were like, oh, you're not here. I'm just going to list with somebody else. Okay. Right. The goodwill that I created, the fact that now my entire database that follows me on social media knows that I'm the type of person who would go and help and do these things. And then I got to go and help and do these things. Right. So where can you enact these little things that could really change the trajectory of your business? Instead of getting people as a closing gift, like a cutting board or a Cutco knife, what if you had a reminder in your calendar, a week after someone went under contract, to have a conversation with them and figure out in that conversation one thing they loved and then get them for them, right? Like, do they love steak? Okay, get them Omaha steaks. Okay, do they love the 49ers? Get them a, Brock Purdy signed jersey. Where could you just do that unreasonable hospitality if you've read that book, right? Where could you just take this one step farther and be, because we're all so focused on spending money on Zillow leads and all this other stuff. And we have our database right there that if we poured into and showed love to, would give us money back tenfold. And instead we like search for these like like tough lead generation sources. So I urge you all to use social media to its highest ability. If you guys have any questions, I'll be on for the next 15 minutes. I can take any questions. Tyler, if you have any questions, I'm here for it.
Well, one thing, and anybody can raise their hand, what I've been hearing too is, I mean, as a coach, right, of 7 years, people are like, oh, I need to do this thing. I need to get all these clothes. It's like this system that's very like general for everybody. And instead of, hey, like, I don't know, I think a lot of us can lead a little bit more with our heart, or just, have a little bit deeper empathy. And so what I'm hearing you say is like, do that, lean into that part that you care and you notice stuff that other people don't notice, and make it genuine, and make it specific versus I need to order 500, magnet calendars to put on a fridge. No, that's not that that's terrible if you've done that. It can help. It's just that they want to know that you care about them. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting from this.
What if
And
each of
so,
those magnet letters came with a handwritten card, right?
right,
And
right.
instead of
Yeah.
500, you only sent 100. Send 100
Mhm.
magnet things with 100 handwritten cards that say, "Hey, I miss you. How are you?" Right? Like,
Yeah. Because it's, they say there's like 3 things when somebody's thinking about working with you. There's 3 questions they ask themselves, even if it's subconscious. It's 1, can I trust you? 2, can you help me? And 3, do you care about me? Right? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And can you help me? And so by doing those special things, like, they know you care about them. And then if you're a professional and you're in social media, they can see that you can help them, and that they're trustworthy, So I think it's brilliant.
thanks, Tyler.
So raise your hand. I've got questions. So anybody raise your hand. I don't want to take the spotlight. I've just been listening and kind of working here. What advice do you have for someone? I've got this as a coach, Justin, where they say like they don't like putting their life all over social media, right? That's not fun for them. They don't want to think about, they're at dinner and they take a picture of that. They don't want to constantly be, that's just not how they are. How can they still have a presence on social media if it's not like, here's what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be what you're doing right now, right? You can create trust by posting about, things that are happening in the market, right? You just have to make some sort of system around that, probably, right? Of every Monday, I, talk about what's going on, what new houses hit the market here, or, what new restaurants came up. It doesn't have to be you at the restaurant, right? I posted the other day a video, and it was just like a 5-second video, and it just had all the new restaurants that are in Delray Beach. Simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, you don't have to be in any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a people business. So you are going to win a lot more if your face is on it and you are front and center.
What's been your most impactful post so far that you can think
I
of?
had one I really liked the other day where I just said, "Hey, I deleted all the bad vibes people off of this, off of my Facebook. So if you're still here, I think you have good vibes and I love you." Right?
That's why you unfriended me. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't, and to tell you the truth, I didn't unfriend anybody, right? I just posted that and it's gotten like 800 likes and, so much interaction. It's just
Mhm.
simple things like that of just being like, of telling your database you care about them, right? It's what people want to know. We're in a loneliness. What we know is we're in a loneliness epidemic, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. Everyone is lonely, right? We have so much more access to people, so much more access to stuff. And yet we have no access to anybody. We sit across from somebody and we have a conversation and they're on their phone. We could call, anybody could call us, and the only calls we get are from robocalls and spam dialers, right? If you can be the one in your database who's creating connection, that's the new superpower. That's the only thing that ChatGPT or AI or Siri or Alexa can't take away from us. We know they're not real. And we crave we need other humans to love us. We don't need Alexa to love us. That doesn't help. We need to know that other humans love us and want us to be in our clan and would protect us, and we've got each other's back. So the more you can show your database that you're in their clan, that you're part of their people, the more they're going to work with you. The more you just seem like AI, like you're not part of their people, you're just their number to you, your business is going in the dumps.
And again, anybody raise your hand, I'm going to keep going with a couple more. So if you were, let's say, I said, Justin, I don't even know how much to post, what to do this week, right? How often should I post? What should I post? Like, what's the schedule if we want to write down kind of a like a structure of this, or like a once a week thing?
Yeah, I would go with at least 2 stories a day. Right, and they don't have to be super complex. They're just somewhat interesting. Polls are really good on the stories, right? You get to ask them like, hey, I just went to this restaurant. Did you guys like it or not? Right? Gives people a chance to interact with you. The more interaction, the more chances you stay top of mind. The more chances when they need to buy or sell a house, they buy or sell with you. The other thing I like is you got to post. I would say once to twice a week is okay. That'll get you by. Just to remind them that you're there. And always saying something kind of purposeful or fun, right? So you want to just keep them engaged. So it's either, this is what I've learned in real estate. This is what kind of feels like going on in real estate right now. This is kind of what's funny about real estate. There's all those different angles you can take. And like, I have a huge, like, I'm all sense of humor, right? So a lot of my posting is jokes. It's like, I posted a duck chewing with its mouth open. I said, does your roommate chew like this? If he does, I can find you a new house. Keep calm, call him a bum. Right? I'm going to have fun with it. You don't have to be that person. I want you to be an A version of yourself, not a B version of me. That doesn't mean you can't take what you see I said today and take the best parts and go, I could do that. I'll work on that. I see those other things and I just don't believe that would work for me. Right? And I'm okay with that. Just because one thing I said wouldn't work for you doesn't mean there isn't something else I said that will be like dynamite for you, right? So don't be afraid not to do everything. But there's something I said that probably resonates that you could probably go forward and execute in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I would 2 posts a week, 2 reels a day, 2 stories a day. I would say that's kind of the bare minimum. I would say the more important part, right, is the social part, which is I would dedicate the first hour of my morning to gratitude, right? I would say I wake up, I go to the gym, I do X, Y, Z, whatever your morning routine is. And the next thing I would add it when I got into my lead gen is an hour of gratitude. Because Zig Ziglar said it the best, right? You can have everything you want in this world as long as you help enough people get what they want. So what we know is that charity, donating, giving is not altruistic in any way, shape, or form. I believe there is zero truth to the fact that there is altruism in this world. I believe that everyone does something good because they get something good out of it, right? I'm going to donate money because I feel better about myself by doing it. I don't truly feel nothing when I donate money. I get dopamine from having donated money. I get dopamine from being able to tell my friends I donated money, right? Those things help me. Those things are good for me. Now, is it always an even outcome? No, but I genuinely believe that everyone's doing something so that they could get something else. And by giving, you will get a lot more than by taking. So you might as well give because it's A, good for the world, and B, brings you back what you want.
We just had a question come in from Tanya Bird. Said,
Yeah.
on Instagram, when you are not doing a story, which is better, a post or a reel?
That's a great question. So posts are going to hit more people that already follow you. Reels are going to hit more people who don't follow you.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, reels get pushed out because there people flip through reels, right? You never flip through just random posts of people you don't follow,
Interesting.
but you'll flip through reels of people you don't follow. So reels will go to more people you don't know. So I use social media to create a moat around my database. And for that, I don't really need reels, but I find reels really fun to make. I just find it enjoyable. I think they're a great way to entertain your database or inform your database. So I love them. Posts are more like just, it's a picture. It says something. I think posts are kind of dying because you see TikTok is way more popular than Instagram for that reason alone. It's just that people like moving pictures and they like faces. So having your face in it and having it moving are two really good rules of thumb.
I know you have Instagram, right? You direct us to Instagram. Based on age, right? I know like Instagram has a certain target demographic, Facebook, like, have you found a higher conversion rate and then also like a certain like age demographic based on like, well, let me ask that in two separate parts. If you posted the same kind of amount of content, would you get more from Facebook or more from Instagram? I know you have 10,000 followers on Instagram. And then also, are you seeing different ages come from different platforms?
Yeah. So remember this, that I think unless you are going to be very committed to social media, you are not using social. Most people are not using social media to get new buyers and sellers, right? You are using it as a database to put people you've met into a place where they can follow your life passively, and then you can be top of mind when they go to buy or sell. That's what social media, in my opinion, is for. There are people like, I can give you examples and you can go look at what they do, like Ken Posick or Taylor Hunt or Brandon Blankenship. We're doing a great job, Matt London. We're doing a great job at a high level of bringing in new clients through YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. Taylor's probably the best, but you have to understand how it works for Taylor to really understand, right? What works for Taylor is that she's in a place where people are going for the military, so they get moved a lot. So she is reaching out to referral partners. Her goal by posting a ton of reels and a ton of stuff to reach new clients is she's trying to get more referral partners that when people are moving to Columbia, South Carolina, are going to send her referrals, right? So that's her business model. Or she's trying to reach people in the military who might be moving to Columbia, South Carolina. That's a very niche thing, right? Where not a lot of our cities have that. And not a lot of us are well positioned to take advantage, even if we were in those cities. What I think we can all do, which is why I kind of teach it like something for everybody, is we can all create a moat around the people who already know, like, and trust us and help stay top of mind with them. So that's why I think Facebook or Instagram are both great, right? I think Facebook is great because those people are probably like your friends from like childhood, like college, like those kind of areas of your life are going to be on Facebook. Those are your real friends or people you really interact with on a very significant basis. Whereas people on Instagram are going to be a little less of that. So I think you'll have a higher conversion on Facebook always because it's a stickier thing, right? It's a two-way follow. They follow you and you follow them. Instagram is less of that, right? There's a lot of bots on Instagram that follow you. So there's going to be a much lower conversion, right? 5,000 Facebook followers is probably equivalent to about 15 to 20,000 Instagram followers. So yeah, and in terms of, I do not think at this point there's an age demographic difference between Instagram and Facebook and them being used at any sort of a level that would help you, right? I think it's going to be the like 25 to 55, 60-year-old community that's going to be on these platforms, using them at a high level, and might do business with you.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
And then another question was, have you or anyone using X at a high level? This was from
X is another platform where, right? Think about who you follow, think about who's followed on these platforms, right? X is a great place to become an expert in something. If you're an expert in something, you can really do well on X. So if you have like a niche like I do, where it's like, hey, I teach about social media for realtors. Well, somebody might want to learn about social media for realtors, and their X will whittle it down to where they find me, right? If you're just a realtor who sells homes in a community, like, no, you have no chance. Like, X isn't going to have people find you. And the people you already know, like, and trust, they're following people that are experts in certain things that they're interested in. The chances that they're interested in housing are zero, or whatever you're into is probably low, right? And there's not a very good conversion ratio like there is on Instagram, where you can be like, I sell houses in this area, and people will follow you for that. But you could also talk about your dogs and get people to follow you because they love schnauzers too, right? X is kind of like, you have one thing, people follow you for that thing. And it turns out you're also a realtor, they don't care that you're a realtor. They're going to skip over all that content. So I think X and TikTok are two places that you can get really caught out in trying to find an audience that will never find you unless you're very purposeful and becoming an expert in some niche, right? Like, got to really niche down, especially on Instagram especially on TikTok and X.
Cool. Any other questions for him or any comments? I'm going to take the last 3 minutes just to talk about ADHD agents, if anybody hasn't heard about that. Do we have any more questions for Justin? Type them in the chat if you want to. And Justin, do you have anything you want to close out with?
No, I mean, please follow me at Himmelsell South Florida on Instagram. What I will say is I respond to everybody who messages me. So if you message me, I will respond probably way quicker than you expect. I will also interact with your content. So follow me, I'll follow you back. I love to interact. So please don't hesitate to ask me anything you want on there. And then the last thing is, Southeast Florida, if you have anybody moving from there, I love referrals. And if it doesn't happen to be an area I cover, I could help you send them to somebody else. But we want to make sure you get your referral checks cashed. And we've closed 15 already this year and 98 5-star Zillow reviews. So doing pretty well there.
Amazing. And they just asked if you want to throw the Instagram handle in the chat again, Justin.
Yeah, it is also my name on this thing, but yes, I can also.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So just real quick, if you haven't heard about, right, we launched ADHD Agents, and we have our ADHD Friendly Business Planning Clinic. We had the first session. I've got this question a lot from people, and with the hurricane, I haven't had as much time to market and get the word out. So anyways, I put the link in the chat. So we're doing our ADHD Friendly Business Planning Clinic. And it's Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Last Thursday we did goal setting, and there's some recordings and notes and everything. So you could absolutely have missed the first session and catch up. And then this Thursday we're actually doing a database plan with marketing examples. We're gonna have social media stuff in there too. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh man, I need some kind of structure to this, go ahead and check that out. I put that link in the chat. And then we are donating a large portion of that to the Hurricane Helene victims. So if you want to help, and you also want to get some more training and stuff like that, go for it. So that's in the chat. And I just got a lot of questions of if you can still do it if you missed Thursday. Yes, you can. And then we will also run a mini clinic in December. So just throwing that out there if you can't do this one. Okay, thank you, Justin. Thank you for everything. And again,
thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for thanks for giving us a lot of good stuff to think about. And I'm going to message you because you said you will respond back. So I'll just message you all the time when I get lonely, and then we'll see if that's true. No, I'm just
Done.
kidding.
Send me reels. I like reels. I like
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right, everybody, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next Tuesday.